In the above image, you can actually mark some major differences in the structure of body, and they are none other than our so-called pubertal changes. But here's what our today's topic is: that why girls across the globe are hitting pubertal changes earlier these days. Before that, let's take a brief about what is puberty and pubertal changes. So, puberty basically is a process of physical and mental changes throughout which child body mature into an adult body for making them capable of performing sexual activities. It initiated by releasing hormonal signals from brain to ovaries in females and testes in a boy, and in response, these particular sexual organs that stimulates certain transformation, which we call pubertal changes. So as for now, we are talking about girls, so I would love to mention certain major changes a girl faces while hitting her puberty, and they are growing of breast. That develop until you are 18, and your nipples will also change, may pink or brown, and can also grow occasional hairs. After that, there is body hair, where you will notice uneven hair growth in places like armpits and in your pubic areas, and these hair may become curlier as you get old. Then there is menstruation or periods, which I think most of us are already aware of. Here, each month the lining of uterus thickens with blood and tissues when the egg is released by your ovary, and if it has not fertilized by sperm, then it's shed along with blood from your uterus that you'll observe coming from your vagina. So periods can be last up to 2 to 8 days, and the blood may be bright or dark red. And apart from menstruation, as soon you'll hit your puberty, you'll also observe secretions of other vaginal fluid that's not bleeding. They are generally produced by cervix. Fluids may be clear or sometimes creamy colored, and again it is totally normal. Apart from these pubic changes, there are changes like skin changes that results in acne, then body changes that we have already discussed, and one of the most important thing that a pubertal changes will start becoming visible up to the age of 13 or 12 or above. So now we came up to our question that why girls across the globe are hitting puberty earlier nowadays, and it's not about hormones. The first reason can be our modern lifestyle, rather a modern stressful lifestyle. Okay, so maybe you'll not believe me, but yeah, stress can be responsible for earlier puberty. According to a study in the University of Arizona in 2007, they found that girls growing in a greater parental support, in a less stressful environment and less marital conflicts, experience their first hormonal changes later as compared to girls who are living in maybe an economic difficulty or marital problems. Because when times are stressful, living things tends to devote more resources to reproductive development, as they want to increase the probability of passing on their genes before their death. That leads to earlier puberty and reduced investment in the developmental processes like directly related to sex or mating. But yeah, again, what kind of stress is more likely to speed up your puberty or reproductive development? So that could be harshness or unpredictability, where harshness is strongly related to lack of money and that typical federal poverty, whereas unpredictability is linked to factors like consistency of father figures inside house and number of changes in residence, where unpredictability can be more harmful for this cause. And we can add some other factors like traumas that are responsible for the same. Now, while grabbing the second reason, it may be the most unpredictable, but yeah, it's true. The second reason at why girls are attaining early puberty is milk.
Whether the hormones in milk are naturally occurring or supplemented, we know that when consumers drink the milk, that our bodies break them down, they're not absorbed into our body, and so there's absolutely no scientific basis to the claim that hormones in milk, whether naturally occurring or supplemented.
According to a survey done in recent times, it is found that cattle producers injects a kind of hormone named oxytocin in their buffaloes or their cattle for some extra concentration of milk. Indeed, it's illegal for sure. According to Section 12 of Animal Act, it's totally illegal to inject any type of hormones or chemical into your cattle. But how oxytocin in milk is responsible for hitting earlier puberty? So, due to drinking poured oxytocin, female child's brain releases GnRH hormones that is actually responsible for hitting earlier puberty. And not only about early onset of menstrual cycle, having oxytocin can lead to many other deadliest changes or maybe problems. Now let's jump on to our last and the most serious reason is watching sexual content. It is found that about 50% of participants has been exposed to sexual content by the age of 12, where children exposed themselves to the things like early sexual debut, unsafe sex, and multiple sexual partners. See, it's obvious that we children at these sensitive ages get inspired from things too much, and it's found that most of the children watching the type of sexual content are addicted to it. It's not occasionally. It's maybe twice in a week or maybe more than that, and this addiction makes changes in their behavior. Its result are some deadliest to our mental health or a risky sexual behavior that can lead to an early sexual intuition and even attraction to opposite sex that ultimately leads to a negative personality, and it can totally destroy your student's life. But now, how it is affected towards the onset of earlier puberty. So it's obvious that watching sexual content can lead to releases of hormones like dopamine, oxytocin, adrenaline, serotonin, and endorphins that can of course trigger your puberty. So this was that I think one of some major reasons about it. And at last I just want to discuss like why early onset of puberty can be a debatable topic. See, it is founded that early menstruating girls naturally attract unwanted attraction towards their opposite sex. Meanwhile, no matter how physically developed a girl is, her psychological menstruation remains anchored to her chronological age. Or hence, she isn't able to come to terms like what is happening, or maybe she'll become socially awkward or start running from social interactions, and this can lead to depression. And with this, it is founded that they have a very low self-esteem and they are very much conscious about their body images. So I think this much is enough as an initial info about puberty and early onset of it and its consequences. Well, again, we'll discuss further about the solutions in a separate video, maybe in the next one. Till then, stay excited and interested.